All right, guys, welcome to the Buff Show. We got Clancey here and Mr. Ben Larson.
He wants to be called Big P or
Big
P Dog.
P-Dog.
Yeah.
P Dog.
Why don't you tell everybody about your recent life events and he's
I
pretty
stubbed
famous
my
now.
toe yesterday while I was walking. I got 25,000 followers on the TikTok, officially making me a micro influencer.
A micro.
That's
Is that
between
what
10 and 50.
That's what Chat GPT says.
No, ChatGPT quit talking to me.
Because
I was saying crazy
weird stuff.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want
compute.
to talk to you anymore. Yeah.
If we should link your videos, or people should go check that out though. He did an open house at one of my listings, and you've been doing these witch videos for a while.
Yeah.
And a couple days later, you're like, by the way, your house is famous now, or something like that.
It was.
How
I
many,
texted him. It's got
how many views?
1.9 million.
1.9
1.9?
million.
You're almost crossed the 2 million threshold.
If you want the exact number,
He's quitting real estate. So everybody that is listening, you don't need to call Paden anymore. Call this Paden or Ben.
yeah,
So,
I
exactly,
got the time.
yeah.
I'm a witch.
He's too busy on Feet Finder or something like that.
Yeah. It's got 1,913,274 views.
Dude, that's crazy. No,
I'm
but it's
just
been
saying.
cool. It's been cool because now people are calling you because they're like, man, you're getting a lot of exposure. I mean, eyeballs on some of these houses, and it's got you some business.
Yeah, for sure. It's got me. It's surprising. It doesn't get you cold leads. Everybody's thinking that random people are calling me and stuff. And I've had a couple of weirdies text me, and I've talked to them for a bit. No. But the bigger leads that come from it are people that know me, that see it, that all of a sudden I'm immediately top of mind for a lot of people.
Yeah.
For my friends and family and stuff
That's
like that.
a lot of views.
Yeah.
I sent it to my clients. They're like, sweet. I mean, that was more views than I got them on the MLS.
By a couple.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, but the problem
don't
is
fluff
now.
them too much.
Well, so I got 12,000 views on my last one, and your entire perception of views is completely skewed now, because now I'm like, oh man, 12,000.
If I don't get
a
a million, it's not worth it.
And I had somebody that was like, 12,000 views is a lot of views paid. And I
That
was
is
like,
a
what?
lot.
That's so it's just
now,
a whole.
Now we just need ideas what me and Ben can do to.
I'm just going to do the same thing, but I'm going to show a little more skin.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you guys do the same thing, but you're the broom and you're the witch. Yeah.
As long as I don't have to jump, I'm fine. Yeah.
I don't know if that would work. I guess we could be those guys. Have you seen where you hang on to each other in different ways and fall over?
Yeah, and it
Just
lands.
tumble through the house that way.
I would like you guys to get into that.
You would watch it.
Whoa.
Anyways, let's jump into our market update here. So
Talking about real estate.
this is a few interesting facts. Maybe not interesting, but we got 107 days left till January 1st.
Ooh, gross.
Yeah, not very many.
How many 30-day
2026.
cycles is that? That's 3 30-day cycles.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that's average
quarter.
contract. So you got
yeah,
3 times.
The
You got
cra-
60 days before you're not closing this year.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow. I don't like that.
I mean, if you're listed right now,
Well,
you have
yeah.
to be on the market
Yeah.
because most homes on the market are anyways, we're going to jump into all that. Interest rates
Coming down.
yeah, it's actually been,
6.125, I believe's where we're sitting right now without a.
so I'm seeing anywhere from 6.35
Oh,
down
wow.
to 6%.
That's good.
And then the 15-year is down to 5.5.
I've seen buying your rate down to a 5.8 too is $2 or $3 grand. Super cheap to buy your rate down right now. That means to me, lenders and the market is expecting more rate drop.
Yeah.
So they're giving those buy downs a lot cheaper than they would if they were expecting rates to go up.
So we had our
I like that.
We had our client event this past week. Awesome turnout. Thank you for everyone that came. But I talked to a few lenders there, and I was like, "Hey, when should I refinance?" Because I'm at a 7.1, and a lot of them said just wait for a minute longer, which is, I mean, that's what I did when I was buying this house. I could have got locked in lower, and I'm like, oh, it's going to keep going down, and it didn't. It turned around and went up. But I do feel like rates will be into the lower fours, or not fours.
Ooh, let's
Gee.
buy.
Lower-
Whoa.
Lower fives,
Prediction.
lower fives.
But lower
They-
fives would be a game changer.
Yeah, I don't
regardless.
know when if you were me, when would you refinance?
the rule of thumb that I've always gotten is 1 to 1.25%. But
That's about where I'm at right now.
But in this very specific scenario, I think everybody still assumes interest rates are going to keep going down. So if you wanted to start like figuring out what it would look like to refinance in January and the extra cost that you would have between now and then, or if you just wanted to refinance now, like you could do some cost calculations and some assumptions.
I think I want to have a lender come on and like run through the scenarios with me, because I I really am like wondering. And I'm sure you have a lot of clients. Like we all have a lot of clients
people
right
are
now.
I've got a list of people that I'm hey, keep an eye on them, get ready.
Yeah, and I don't. That would be a really good podcast. Like, at what point does it make sense? Like, how low do you go?
Oh, the limbo. We'll call it the limbo podcast.
Yeah.
How low do you go?
So we'll do that one. But let's jump into some of these numbers. So we're reviewing. It is September. We are reviewing August numbers. These are the most recent numbers for the state of Utah, and we're just going to give you kind of an idea, state of the market, where things are at, what to look forward, and where things are going. So we got our crystal ball out. We should charge for this episode. That's how valuable it is.
I think it's going to change people's lives.
Yeah. Why don't you take it off?
All right, we're starting with new listings, a count of the properties that have been newly listed on the market in a given month. New listings in 2025, August of 2025, were 5,000. Wait a minute.
Oh, he's struggling.
I don't know how to read, guys. No. New listings, August 2025, 5,294. New listings in August of 2024 was 5,444 for a decrease of 2.8%. So it's just good. I'm looking at this just really quickly to make everybody aware. The amount of listings went down month over month. But compared to this same exact month last year, I'm still skittering over my words. But the amount of listings listed in 2025 is still up 9.6% compared to this same time last year. So
the overall year
average. So we still see a large increase in listings when compared to last year. That's just this month compared to that month.
We just had a slower August of new listings.
Yeah, just an incomplete picture with just talking about the months. But
yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, a lot of listings on the market still. That's still the message.
That's coming on a later slide. Don't get greedy. All right, pending sales. A count of the properties to which offers have been accepted in a given month. August 2025 is 3,553. August 2024, 3,701 for a decrease of 4%. So same kind of idea. Our August is a little bit slower, but our 12-month average is still up 4% from last year. So August to August, we're up 4%, but August compared to August, we're down 4%.
Have you guys? Well, let's continue going. Let's do close. So I'll do close. A count of the actual sales that close in a given month. We are down we are up 1.3%, and our 12-month trailing average is 5.5% increase. So overall, there's been more closed sales happening. I feel like we were just in a lull since 2022, and we're slowly like pulling out of that. So it's interesting in August, less new listings, less pending sales, but more closed sales. I don't know.
More got to the finish line, but less started the race.
Next, we're going to do days on market until sale. Average number of days between... Wait, did I just skip you, Paden?
No.
Oh, average number of days between when a property is listed and when an offer is accepted in a given month. August of 2025, 63. August of 2024, 52. So we're seeing it's taking much longer when compared to the same time last year to sell a home, which makes sense.
21% increase. That's a big increase. And the 12-month trailing average is 14.2%. This goes back to Ben's comment. Like, if you wanted to sell by the end of the year, on average, you're 63 days if you were listed on the market until you have a contract. Contract's typically, 30 days?
Yep.
So
you gotta get a contract in the next 5 to 10 days under contract.
the thing is too is it's only going to get slower, because if you look at the historical days of market, if you look at every year, like it drops a lot. Like the lowest point days of market is like June or July.
Yep.
And then it swings up, and it seems like there's about a 25-day swing if you sell in like July or January. And it's funny because I feel like overall July is like a pretty kind of slower month, but all those deals that are closing are deals that were under contract and found back in May and June.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's when people are closing.
So you get white hot there in the spring, and then right at the beginning of summer, and then it just kind of slowly cools down from there.
Same with like new listings. There's a big swing as far as there's a huge swing every year. Like it spikes up a ton. Like let's look at this year. Back in 2025 in say like January. Am I reading this right?
I think the hard part is you're looking at a couple different charts. So we have spikes on new listings, but pending sales don't spike, right?
Right.
And different things. So I guess the way I would ask it is, if you are a buyer, you want to buy on the spikes of the new listings.
Do you?
Because there's more inventory.
I don't know though. So like just looking at this, in January, there was like 3,000 new listings.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the peak of the summer, when everybody wants to list, there was like 6,000 new listings or just above that. So there's like, it's like half. And which makes sense because people
Right.
aren't really listing their houses.
But how many buyers are you fighting with in the middle of January or July?
A lot.
A lot more buyers. So you get the peak in January of new listings, but the buyers haven't come out to play as much as they do in the winter or the summertime.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. And then you talk vice versa, that when's the best time to list. And then you say, okay, there's going to be way more buyers in July, and that's why you see everyone list,
Right.
because the buyers are coming to play.
Right. Yeah. Everybody wants time. And it makes sense with our weather. Nobody just wants to move and do all that in the wintertime.
And it's hard to make, especially if that's the key feature of your house is a yard or a pool or something like that. It's hard to highlight that in the middle of winter, right?
Yeah, but if you're a seller and you don't want to have to like mow your lawn and like tidy up
There's
and
that
pick
too.
up the dog poop, just sell in the wintertime and everything gets buried.
There is a lot to say about. You'd be surprised how many houses you sell motivated on what I have to do. We've recently wrote a contract, and our counter was, we don't have to clean the house out.
Really?
Basically we'll take out what we want, and then the rest is your responsibility.
Wow.
Because they just didn't.
They didn't wanna have to deal with it.
Yep, they didn't want to have to deal with it.
I want to go into that more because I think there's some unique advantages right now for buyers and sellers this time of year.
Okay, so we're at median sales price right now.
Yep.
Point at which the sales median, we basically take all the sales in the state of Utah and we knock off the first one and the end one, and we keep doing that till we get to the center. So August 2025 is 520,000 of 25, and in August of 24 it's 500,000. So we're a 4% increase, about $20,000 more dollars on your median sales price. So we've gone up. Overall, our trailing 12-month average, we're up 2%, which is roughly 10 grand on average sales price. So everyone that keeps waiting for that bottom, we've done nothing for the last 6 months but slowly creep up in price. So, the prices are here to stay.
Yeah,
Unfortunate for buyers and great for sellers in my eyes.
4%'s beating inflation though, which is the first time that's happened in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 months. So if we stay at 4%, all of a sudden housing's becoming more valuable year over year if it sticks around.
Yeah,
if it sticks around.
that was going to be my question. So is your house an investment right now?
You got to buy it at the right price. Yeah.
Average sales price. So average sales price for all the closed sales, not accounting for sellers' concessions in a given month. So you add up all the sales price divided by the number of inputs, and that gives you the average. It's crazy how different these are.
Yeah.
But the average last year was 645. This year 679 for an increase of 5.3%. And our average trailing 12 months for this year, we're up 4.5%. It's interesting. Like on our averages, it looks like we're above the peak of 2022, which if you look at the medians, we haven't quite crossed that line. But on the averages, it's like we've climbed out of this hole that we've been in.
And I contribute that to when you're higher end homes, because that's what skews to averages. You have your $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 million homes. They're selling more prevalently than your homes that are affected more by the interest rate. A lot of times people buying a $3, $4, $5 million home, they're not using traditional financing or financing in general.
Yeah.
So the rates don't really affect them. So the sales aren't really affected by the rates. So I think that's why you're seeing more of those in comparison to our number of sales in general.
I think it'd be interesting to do more research to see maybe the
Exactly how many
average.
over X sell.
Yeah, well, and even it's almost like the two indicators, median sold price and average sales price, are indicators for two different things as well. But that we'd have to do more research on
for
that.
sure. I think it could be. There is something I want to, and maybe I'll bring it up at the end. Let's get through these numbers, and then I have some ideas.
Lay it on us. You're on percent of original.
Me?
Yeah, you.
No, I just went. It's P-Dog.
Oh,
It's
P-Dog.
see Clancy. Percent of
C-Dog.
original list price received. Percentage found when dividing a property's sale price by its original list price, then taking the average for all properties sold in a given month, not accounting for seller concessions. Basically, if you're going to sell your house, this is the number that you're probably going to sell your house for when compared to list price, effectively. So August 2025, 95.9%. August of 2024, 96.7%. That's super interesting because 95 is the lowest that we've seen in the last 12 months. 95.9 is the lowest we've seen in the last 12 months, showing that people are having to sell their homes for even less than what they were last month or the month before.
They're getting beat up from what they're asking.
Sellers are getting their butts kicked right now for sure.
Do you think that's because of mislisting their prices and it's not selling, or they're just desperation?
I think that everybody this year is still getting used to, I don't want to call this a standard market. Let's say a different market. Everybody's still getting used to a normal market, and it's almost an indicator to me that you finally got a bunch of sellers shrugging their shoulders and giving up a little bit. And so that's why that price would go down a little bit. Although I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on that because that's an aggressive statement.
I think what's happening is you're seeing people expecting to have to give commissions, right? So they're originally listing for that $5,000 to $10,000 over, anticipating to give $10,000 to $20,000 in closing costs because the cost of a loan and all your different fees, you can give that out of your purchase price a lot more and a lot easier. So it's almost a tactic in my mind that I use. I let my sellers know, hey, look, especially when you get into 500 plus price range, an extra $5,000, $10,000 that you're willing to let go is easier. And I've even had it where, a $500,000 house and you get an offer for $510,000 because you can make the appraisal work, knowing that you're going to give them $10,000 back in seller paid closings to give them that cash to get it done.
But keep in mind that the concessions aren't being accounted in those numbers in the 95.
Oh, these are only just the concessions. So that whole theory is gone. Why don't you stop me before I got all the way in there with that?
I still think your thought process is correct.
I think your thought process is right. I think sellers are just overshooting. They're like, and again, this is we all feel like our house is the best house on the block. It's invaluable.
My house is the best house.
It's built on a block of gold, and I think the market kind of pulls people back to reality in this market. And we see that with a lot of sellers where we'll list their house and then they'll be like, wait, like, where's the showings or where's the offers? And it's like, well, this isn't the same market we had a while ago,? So if you want it to sell, you need to almost price it like a little bit under the market and it'll be gone.
And I just want to take one quick step back. I do think then all of a sudden that acknowledge both of your points that this is a change in sentiment from sellers that are more willing to negotiate than they've been in the last. I feel like their expectations are more realistic. I don't want to say realistic now. Their expectations are now that their home's going to sell for less than their list price. And I think that this last year is showing that expectation is growing and growing. Good or bad thing, I couldn't tell.
What do you think is the biggest driving factor for these lower prices?
Time on market.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say that the more we see days on market go up, the more we're going to see this number get pulled back.
People need to get this done.
Yes, because what people don't realize, and this is a hard thing for sellers to wrap their head around, is like in real estate, I don't feel like there's like a finite, like your house is worth $500,000. Like it depends on what buyers out there, the time of market, who loves it, who doesn't like it.
Yep.
And what happens is you have a seller that lists for $500,000, and if it's just so hard for them to like wrap their heads around all the costs of paying and like, well, why should I pay $10,000 towards a buyer's closing cost? How do you guys get sellers to feel okay about that?
I just set those expectations up front.
Yeah.
And if you have sellers that push back really hard, sometimes I've been more aggressive on everything and just be like, this is what it is. And
Yeah.
that if you're wanting somebody to come in and buy your house at one of the hardest times to sell your house that we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years, then you need to have expectations that that you need to attract buyers as much as possible.
Yeah.
And the less that you're willing to wiggle, you need to not go too far and just let buyers walk all over you too. But if you're not willing to wiggle at all, you're just not going to attract as many buyers. And by as many buyers, I mean you're going to attract either 2 buyers or no buyers.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Right. Yeah. The pool is thin, so you got to be aggressive.
Yeah.
I like that, setting that expectation. But another thing I like is you can set those expectations, but in reality, we have clients that need to be shown the market.
Yeah.
And that's when I go with is here's where, with my expertise, quote unquote, where I think we're going to be. And sometimes you just have to say, okay, I don't agree that we should list at this price, but if that's what you want, we'll do it. If it's within reason, mind you, within reason.
Yeah.
And I say, let's see what the first week, 2 weeks brings, and let's listen to the market, and we'll be able to analyze from there.
Yeah. Get feedback.
Get
and all that.
feedback,
Create
see
a
listings,
create a plan of attack. We'll do what you
Exactly.
want to do, but this is what should happen after
Right.
a time period.
And if it sells and people fight over it, great. I will grovel at your feet and tell you I'm sorry.
You were right. You were
Yep.
right.
But in 2 weeks, we can't go, well, why? Well, we know why. Now let's adjust and fix and get your home sold.
I do think setting the expectation that that's another thing that I've been communicating to people is I will market your property as effectively as I can.
Yeah.
I'll go above and beyond to market your
Yeah.
property. But if it doesn't end up selling, then we both need to agree in this scenario that it's
Who's
not
our
the
enemy?
marketing, that
Yeah.
it's the price.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like our job is to do everything that we can, like make sure the 50 things that we do are like spot on dialed perfect as far as the marketing goes. And then there's the price factor. And if it's not going within the time frame that we want, then it's like, okay, well, we can pull the price lever and get more activity that way. But right now it's hard for I find it hard sometimes working with clients where they feel like their house is just worth X. It's like houses aren't quite like other items where it's like it has like a car, for example, like they're pretty easy to price out. Houses, it seems like there's like a big window on where they could sell at depending on the time, the buyers out there. Maybe the buyer, the grandma lives next door, their family lives next door, and their motivation's just crazy high to be there. And then there's all these variables that sellers need to run through their mind. Like, okay, well, I could get 500,000 today, or I could hang on to this house through wintertime. What's my holding cost going to be? Anyway, so there's all these like factors to run into there when it comes to like
Actually setting the price of the house.
Yeah.
I also, just real quick, I also think their expectations for price swing is a bit much sometimes. Sometimes they think we're going to make an extra $60,000 if we wait till spring, when probably more likely it's maybe $10,000. Like their expectations for positive, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
A lot of their expectations for real estate just aren't realistic.
which would be fun to run through a few scenarios of that as at the end of this, because I think that's a good conversation to have. Do I have this housing
I think
affordability?
Ben's
Is it
got
me?
Blend.
Oh, frick, I always get this one. All right, so I'm going to read the thing and then I'll give you my layman's term definition. The index measures the housing affordability for the region. For example, an index of 120 means a median household income of 120% of what is necessary to qualify for the median priced home under prevailing interest rates. Higher number means greater affordability. Okay, so basically at 100% index rate, the median household income can purchase the median household price, if that makes sense. If that index number goes less than 100, it becomes less affordable, meaning you have to have more than the median household income to afford the median household price. The higher the index number, say it's 120%, means you can make less than median household income and buy a median household. Hopefully everyone got that. Make me look good,
Can you
Matthew.
explain that again? I'm just
So basically what I'm saying is August 2025, we are at a 73% index, meaning we're less than that 100% median rate. So right now you need to make 27% more than the median household income in Utah in order to afford the median household price. So you need to make 127% of what you're making right now if you're at the median to be able to afford a median household price.
it's unaffordable.
It's pretty unaffordable on a median household income.
And real quick, a note: the interest rates that Paden was talking about were for right now, this moment of time. These stats are from 1 month ago.
Yeah.
So
Correct. Yep.
interest rates going down, if they create more people wanting to buy houses, the assumption would be that this number will go up. It's not going to go to 100% by any means, but
It'll help.
let's watch that statement that I
Yeah.
just said and see what next month's affordability
Yeah.
looks like.
You doing some research?
Or it might even take 2 months, really.
So listen to this, everybody. Utah's median household income was about $98,336
so
a year.
100,000. So
in
you need
2025.
you need like 127,000
in order to afford your,
the median price home.
which is 520,000.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's just real estate,
Is
baby.
that dual incomes though? I'll bet that is.
Well, household income.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yep.
all income?
Yeah, it's a tough market right now. I was talking to somebody yesterday. He's like, "Why do you live in Utah?" I'm like, "I like it here."
You should have got defensive about it.
He's like, "It's expensive," and I'm like, "It is very expensive here."
Yeah, I don't. That's true. It is very expensive here, but like, there's much more expensive places as well. I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, California. Yeah.
Well, I know, but even like Texas and New York and like even like Arizona. I'm not saying.
I mean, we're probably in the top 10, aren't we?
Like 3.
Yeah, but you're also, once again, everybody's treating all these numbers if you're trying to move down downtown Salt Lake City. But you can get pretty well-paying jobs in Tremont or Logan, Utah, and live in those areas, and your affordability is going to be much different. Maybe we need to do affordability indexes on like different counties
we,
as well.
we actually did that. And I think the cheapest is actually Juab and
That's out in the middle of
Iron.
nowhere.
Yep. And like Iron County and Tremont and Logan, Cache County.
Yeah, I
And
think
Cache County wasn't that far off of like Weber Davis, you know.
Well, I don't. What were the affordabilities though? I don't think they're 100. I think they're still bad.
They
but-
gave the median household incomes and then the median household price per county, and the index was about average like this. You're still about 120% everywhere, because even in Logan, your average income is
it goes down
quite
That's
a
the
bit
hard
lower
part.
than if
unless
you're
you
in-
travel.
yeah.
But then it's like then you got time and gas and commuting
It-
and all that. It's hard.
It's expensive, and remember the index is off the prevailing interest rate, and the best way to cut that out and make it more affordable, in my opinion, is you've got to be cash heavy. So
You gotta
kids,
pay cash.
kindergartners that are watching our YouTube channel, start saving. Save your cash, because the heavier you are in cash,
Save,
the less you affect
save your
yourself.
cash and let inflation eat it away.
But you could also work on base though and get a pretty decent salary and live up in Brigham City, and that's not a terrible drive. I'm not. I'm not. I'm once again. I'm not saying. I'm just.
Wait, will you stop telling people how to live their life?
I
Yeah, if you never see your families and commute 4 hours a day, you'll be fine.
Well, it's only a 25 minute drive. I don't know. I
no,
drove like an hour every day,
I agree. I think there is
which
a
you
huge,
shouldn't do, which is bad.
There's a good opportunity for somebody wanting to live in like Box Elder County and work in Davis or Salt Lake County,
Or even
that's-
Weber County.
Yeah,
Like,
that's like
there's-
an hour drive, and I think there's good paying jobs there. But yeah, I agree with you.
But I'm even saying you could live in Willard or Brigham City or Corinne, Utah. It all depends. Not everybody wants to live in small cities or whatever.
Yeah.
But like driving from Willard to Autoleave or something is
Yeah.
a 20-minute drive. It's
Yeah.
not an hour and a half drive.
Right.
So I once again, this is very
I
specific
will
scenarios.
agree with you. The farther north you can go, it is cheaper, and it's not that bad of a commute, especially right now in Utah. And I actually tell a lot of clients that if you have the time, because what's happening, we're pushing out to those areas, and eventually, just like Morgan and all these other smaller cities that were now big, people went out to Hooper and West Haven and
Yeah,
Syracuse,
and they're blowing up.
and now their house, same thing. Their house that they bought for $450 grand,
They caught
is-
up to that median value pretty
They
quick.
Yeah.
caught it up to that value fast. So that is, if you're talking investment in just your small savings households, if you can get out to those areas, make the commutes, I would say that is money ahead in the future.
My final statement, we can keep going. Housing is unaffordable. I don't want to downplay it. If you look at housing as being unaffordable and that means you can't afford it, then that's the wrong sentiment to have. If you want to buy a house, you feel comfortable with it, with good mortgage payments or whatever, there's so many more scenarios than just the statement that's saying housing is unaffordable.
No,
That's all I was.
think they should just rent.
I mean, if you're an influencer and get
If you're looking at it as like, once again, the affordability with rent is not a bad way to go. I'm not against that either. But the problem with rent is that you can't control, like, the whole purpose of rent is that you can't control your rent.
I was listening to a Graham Stephan podcast, and he had Pace Morby on there. And
I saw a bunch of that.
They were talking about affordability, and Graham's like, no, everybody should just rent right now. It's super unaffordable to buy a house. And like, it kind of is true. Like, rent's probably half of what a mortgage payment is, if not more.
Probably
right
a little
now.
more than half, probably.
Yeah. So like,
Much more affordable for sure.
Yeah, rent's way more affordable. But the problem is there was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, a few years back, when rent was crazy expensive and owning a house was better. And I think that could easily shift, right? So like the house that we just bought, and we have a high interest rate right now in mortgage payment. Like, we were able to get around that by having rentals, by renting out part of our house. And our situation, I look at it, is that only can get better because rates can come down. Already I could refinance and get like 1% to 1.25% cheaper interest rate. And that's going to drop my payment, I don't know. Hundreds, maybe 1,000. I don't know. There's ways to get around it. And then you fast forward like 5 years down the road. I don't think you're going to be like, man, I'm pissed I bought a house. Like, because I think right now is kind of the lull in the market where everybody's like, it's crappy to invest. Payments are high, but watch interest rates drop. Interest rates will drop. Home prices are going to jump right back up.
Excuse, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, interrupt me.
Well, I don't disagree. Once again, if you're only looking at housing affordability, it is not a good time to buy. But if we're talking, Dave Ramsey's another guy who brings up the fact that like part of the purpose of housing as well is that you can create a controlled variable.
Yes.
All of a sudden, it's only your taxes and your insurance going up instead of your entire payment.
Yeah.
And so if you're wanting to try to this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You should need to talk to somebody else. But
not a financial advisor.
But having you either have an uncontrolled variable that can go up as much as whatever, or you have a controlled variable.
Yeah.
And that's where owning your own house can be beneficial, is that if you're trying to budget, you're trying to create all these scenarios, you've got this variable that you can control a lot more than what your landlord's going to charge you. That's, take that as you will.
What do you think?
I don't think there's ever a good time to rent, and the only time I would suggest anybody to rent is if their home situation doesn't allow them to stay in a home with family or friends or however that works. And or if you are actually at a point in life where you cannot afford to get a mortgage for any reason.
Yeah.
Another thing that's like the hard staunch rule, but everyone has their, some people will rent because they're moved to a new city trying to find a place. Circumstances are fine, but
if it's temporary, like rent makes sense.
But to rent because you don't want to afford a house is, I think, kicking the pain down the road. Well, and there's a lot of people, they can afford it. A sense of they can make the payments, still buy food, still live, but they go, oh man, I can't go to 2 concerts a month and I can't go on vacation 3 times a year. Which,
or you got to find a better job. Nobody's making you not.
Okay, boomer, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Boomer.
Just make more money,
but
dummy.
Well, we do live in America.
That is true,
right? There's so much opportunity right now.
I just want to take one. I want to get it serious. His advice on saying, especially if you're in your 20s or 30s and you're wanting all of these things, you can still have some pretty nice things if you just like lower it a little bit and try to buy a house as well. Like if you're putting in the effort, I disagree with that. I think everybody needs to be careful of, like, you're right. We're in America. We've got all these crazy things that we're trying to do. If you can just take one step back in your 20s and to buy a house in your 20s,
right,
it'll financially set you up the rest of your life. But this is the caveat being, you have to own a home for, let's say, 7 years for it to be something that makes it so that it's wildly beneficial. Because the home ownership profitability or whatever is exponential. And those first 2 years, 5 years don't do much for you.
So can I tell a story? Like
inventory.
Listen, I had a closing today. Young couple just got married. They're living with family for free in the basement. And he reached out. He's like, hey, Paden, I want to buy a house. We looked at all the different costs. Originally, they wanted to be like further out and they wanted some ground and stuff like that. We wrote a few offers on houses like that. And I'm like, you guys really should, like, if you want rentals and like investments over time, like look more in like a city, because we were looking out in like crazy areas that I didn't even knew existed in.
Malad City, Idaho.
No, they were all. Some of them were
Snowville.
up in, yeah, Snowville. I'm like, where's Snowville? And it was like a 2-hour drive from here or longer. But they ended up buying a house in Ogden. Like the after repair value of this house is probably low to mid 400,000 range. We picked it up for 300,000. And there was issues and bumps along the way, but they could instantly turn around and flip this house and make a good profit right now. He's pretty handy, but they're going to live in it for 2 years. They're going to put a kitchen in the basement. It's already kind of set up that way. They're going to rent out the basement, and they've just set it up in a way that like it's going to build them income over time.
And they bought it at a price that suitably worked well for their
It
situation.
worked out great. And it was hard because they were like, we want to be under like, I think it was 320 or 350. And I mean, we turned over a lot of stones. And then this one, like, it just kept getting better and better. They got closing costs. They got, I mean, I think their cash to close was like they brought a cashier's check. It was
Less than 10.
Less than 10. Yeah, which is crazy. And so less than 10 grand, they got into a house. They're going to be able to rent it out. I was meeting with some other folks the other day. They're renting out a room in Ogden for $1,000 a month for 1 bedroom. And it's a shared basement. So they're renting out the rooms in their basement, and they have like, they share a laundry and a kitchen. Crazy. They're like completely covering their rent.
This kind of turned into 2 stories, but
I know.
well,
Anyways,
whatever.
let's jump into the inventory of homes for sale. I do have some other things.
Oh, I
talk
bet you
about,
do.
though.
Yeah. Oh.
So inventory of homes for sale, we're up 17%.
Which
From
makes sense.
last year, up 21% the past trailing 12 months, which is crazy. We got a lot of inventory, and I think that's what helps buyers right now. You can actually go out there and find a decent deal right now.
I'll comment on that here in a second. A month supply of inventory, the inventory of homes for sale at the end of a given month divided by the average monthly pending sales from the last 12 months. So August of 2025, 4.5 months. For the prior year, August 2024, it was four months for an increase of 12.5%. 12-month running average was 14.4%. So
All right, here's where we're laying bets on this one.
Laying bets.
Laying bets.
what are we, a cowboy? Sorry.
Yeah.
January 31st, 2026. Month supply of inventory. Closest person. Actually, closest 2 people, the other person buys lunch for.
Okay. So whoever's the furthest off.
The furthest off buys all 3 lunch.
Okay.
Deal? I'm going to say we are going to go down in inventory to a 4.2.
I'm going to say 4.
Paden saying 4. I'm saying 4 too.
So the gambler in me wants to go high because you're more likely to get,
yeah,
you got a hold.
But your heart says that it's
my heart says 3.5.
Really?
I think that if interest rates,
Are you locking that in?
no,
Are you
I,
locking that
Hold on,
in?
Wait, why would you go like that?
because
You
I
should go 3.9 because
Well, yeah, well, I can
I
do
mean,
that
don't you
too.
know how to play that game?
I just
You just don't go that.
I'm not a
deep.
good gambler. I'll do 3.9 as a because
put him at
you
3.5. You
put
said
me at
that.
3.75. We'll meet in the middle.
3.75. We got a 4 and we got a 4.2.
Whoever's the closest, not
'Kay.
Whoever loses buys
Yeah.
the other 2 lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
Matthew, you got that. Payton's at 3.75. Payton A is
Laban.
at 4.
We'll call him Plaben.
Plaben, and Ben is 4.2. The right one is 4.2.
Well, but let's take a step back. We all feel like
January
it's going to go down.
31st. Well, yeah, why?
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 Interest rates. I think.
So-
But mind you, this is January
So if-
31st next year.
If month supply of inventory goes down, what happens to all the what does that mean for the market? Because let's explain that for people.
I'm going to say 2 reasons. One, the rates are going to go down. The buyers are going to start in my opinion, the savvy buyers are going to start buying.
So things are going
now
to heat up.
for just buyers. The savvy buyers are going to come out of the woodwork because they're starting to be able to afford it, or they've always been able to afford it, but they've known rates are going to come. Sellers are going to start putting stuff on hold. They're not going to want to list in the wintertime, so you're going to have less new inventory
A bit more buyers.
until spring. I think we'll have a big pop come
Big pop.
end of February, start of March.
Interesting. And then what happens?
and then we stay at a nice, healthy market. Everything's good. America's great.
Life.
You know, that's the prediction.
No,
Hopes.
what really? What's your like? Go out into like April, May, June.
I'd say we stay on the same trajectory rates, and we'll have a little more churn, right? So we're gonna have
So more deals going.
more deals going, but I think our days on market are gonna hang. You know, our supply of inventory is gonna hang right around that 4. You know, right in our range that we've chosen.
But you think inventory and supply is both going to kind of creep up? And
No.
or sorry,
I
inventory
think
and demand.
I think inventory is
will
going to
kinda
creep
go up.
down until January,
Okay.
and then demand and supply will both increase at the same time, which will keep these numbers neutral.
Interesting.
More houses will go on, but more houses will come off, keeping the supply and demand more balanced.
What's yours?
I think we've had 2 years of influencers from social media, real estate agents, everybody saying that once interest rates start going down, everybody's going to start buying. And so I think that people are going to start seeing in the next month interest rates going down, and all of a sudden all the agents and influencers are going to start saying that interest rates are going down, and that's going to cause a huge influx of people saying, I better buy a house now before it's too, I'm not talking like 2021 or nothing, but that's why I feel like I feel like you're right that inventory is going to stay level or keep going down as we go into winter, and we're going to see a surprising amount of buyers in this winter time because there's the rates, and I feel like maybe somebody's really trying to push mortgage interest rates down, who's the most powerful person in the United States, is really trying to push that down. And so if it happens the way that I kind of think it's going to happen, that's why I think it'll go all the way down to 3.5. And then your stuff will all be correct next spring.
And I love that you said that he's trying to push rates down. And I think right now is the best time to push rates down, because if you lower rates in a bad time to buy, it doesn't cause a frenzy in the market and spike our prices, right? But it allows us to get our rates lower and to healthily transition and move into, so we don't have a huge inflation spike when we have a rate drop. It's almost like somebody knows what they're doing, and we're just all hoping that it works out.
What's the Fed saying? Have you guys been following that?
Feds are going down another couple times this year.
They one more drop. Well,
Well,
so they say, or so they lead on.
but I do think there's external forces going after the Fed, right? That's where I don't, right or wrong, I don't know. But you've got somebody now who will do every tactic in the world, regardless of anything else, to push them down.
Yep.
And he's also specifically going after mortgages. He's talked about that 2 or 3 times too.
And if you've noticed, mortgages usually trail what prime does. Just now, mortgages preemptively jumped prime.
Well, and that's the only other interesting thing too, is that typically the Fed rate and mortgage rates have only got like a 150-point spread, where like right now it's like a 250 or 300-point spread, and so that's because of people aren't certain in the real estate market. And so now all of a sudden, if you have this weird combination of mortgage interest rates going down, people getting more comfortable with the real estate market and feeling like it's not going to fluctuate as much as it has been, you've got somebody really trying to physically push all of these interest rates down. Like all of these forces, if they perfectly aligned, could create a scenario where a lot of demand comes to the market very quickly.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen. I hope it's just a normal amount
Because
of
there's
demand,
so
but-
many sellers that are like just hanging on to their low interest rate, but they have to move. And the funny thing is for most people, what's going to make them okay with moving is not the price that they could sell their house for, it's what kind of interest rate they could get on their next house.
all of a sudden confidence in the market and low interest rates.
Which is unfortunate, because I feel like probably the best time to buy a house that I can foresee right now is within the next like 4 to 6 months. I think as we go into next spring, if everything happens how they're predicting, like currently we're in the low 6s, we could get into the 5s, most likely. And what's going to happen is nobody really wants to move in December, January, and it's going to be, these low rates are going to kind of be sitting there marinating with people, and they're going to be like, honey, I think this is the year that we should try and like make the move. You're going to have an influx of buyers and sellers come out in the spring of next year. So like with listings, I'm telling people, and I currently have my house for sale, and it's like, man, do I just hang out for another 6 months before I get too aggressive with my price? Because I feel fairly confident that we will be in a significantly warmer market than we are right now. Maybe not hot, but warmer.
I'm doing the exact. I have a townhome that is sitting.
You're in the same.
sitting vacant that I will not
You were
list
giving
yet.
me crap about that the other day.
Yep, I will not list it because I know it's coming
Hypocritical,
up.
really.
Yeah.
So
So you're just eating holding costs every month.
I'm eating $1,100 a month in holding costs.
And see, I'm eating a lot on mine too, and I could lower the price and try and like offload it this fall, or I could just be patient. And I still haven't figured it out, but I really do believe that next spring could be a turning point for the real estate market.
So we all think a spell's brewing. We just don't know what the outcome's going to be.
A spell, I guess we could call it that. Did you cast a spell in the market? Oh man, and I want to cover one other thing. So if you're, I guess let's go what this means for buyers and what this means for sellers. If you're a buyer and you're looking to buy within the next 12 months, when's the best time to buy a house if you're flexible?
I want to define something really quick. Right now, we're not talking investors. We're talking a personal buy because I think the timing, two different people, two different scenarios.
I would say either would apply in my definition here, like as far as my advice. Maybe.
We'll give two
Anyway,
separate
yeah,
So,
advice.
give it-
so
give
as
us
a
yours.
as a personal person, and you're planning to get in a house, 5 to 10 year hold, your home, right?
Yeah.
Right now till January.
Yeah.
That get out there, get it done. I don't see a better window for you.
I agree. Even just look at our average sales price and median sales prices. It follows the season of Utah.
Yep.
Like it goes up and then like kind of down in the wintertime because there's so many people that are like, people put these weird mental roadblocks in their head, and it's like, and I have one right now. I'm like, I don't want to do snow removal for 3 houses in Eden.
That sounds awful.
But it's funny. Like I would almost sell it for X amount less to just not have to worry about that when I could hire somebody to do it. But
Time is money.
it's the unknown, right? I don't know if I could get more next spring, but so people put these roadblocks in their head. That house that we just closed, those sellers were in another state. Like they for sure didn't want to hang on to that property. During due diligence, we got them down 20 grand additional money off of the price for due diligence items. It was crazy. So like if you can negotiate with sellers right now that are motivated and you're flexible as a buyer, I think you can find some really good deals right now.
And sellers are motivated right now.
Sellers
They
are
seem more motivated.
Some.
Yeah,
I mean, some
not
aren't.
every single one.
Some aren't, but some are extremely motivated. And I think right now it just depends on who wants it more. If you're a buyer and you're open and you're more, if you're just wanting to find a really good deal, I think you can find those good deals.
Well, I also, so the house that we're listing here in the next little bit, they bought the house at a discount 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and they're just needing to sell it for whatever reason. But they're able to make it so that they're able to get out of that house scotch free without having to bring any money in, which
Wow.
is crazy to do in a 2 year span.
Yeah, in a 2-year span.
So I
yeah.
think that's another thing too, is if you're a buyer looking right now, your goal is going to be trying to buy it below what its value is. Like if you're trying to look at this as a risk adverse thing, you've got options to be able to do that to make
Yeah.
it so you've got less risk going in.
I think it depends on the buyer's motivation and how long they'll be in that house. Because like if you're a family and you're like, hey, I really want to be in this area where my kids go to school, like you're less worried about like the financial.
And I don't disagree, but I think that that's all I'm saying is if you've got somebody who's so risk adverse that they're like, I don't know what's going to happen the next 2 years, I'm super scared, so I'm just not going to buy right now.
Yeah.
My advice with them to be, if you're really that worried about it and you can give up on some of the things you want in a house,
Yeah.
then being more aggressive, you can get rid of at least a little bit of that risk by trying to negotiate aggressively
Yeah.
and being okay with maybe
Yeah,
something not working out.
sure.
That's a common question I get. Oh, what's going to happen in the next year or two in the market? And I always tell people, well, first question, do you plan on selling or getting out of this house in the next 1 or 2 years?
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, then I wouldn't worry about the next 1 or 2 years. 3 or 4. Well, no. Okay. 5 years out, 5 to 10 years, the risk goes down. Just like you talked, there's a curve. Year 1, 2, 3, you don't really have any financial gain by being in the home. Year 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, you exponentially grow. So that's going back to if you're going to live there, buy right now, because the only thing, taking out all the other variables, the desperateness, just the fact of as you as a buyer buying a house at value, the values always dip right now and will start coming back up in the spring. So just a base layer, even if you don't want to beat someone up, prices are going down right now. Buy right now. Come spring, it's going to go back up. We know that. It's proven year after year after year. You're going to get rich? No, but a 5-10 year swing, you'll be able to appreciate.
Well, and just a quick side note as well, the highest median sold value we had was $540,000, and we're the closest now to it that we've been since that point in time again. So it's all just a roller coaster, and the second we break above that $540,000, you'll never be able to get a home at the value that you got it today. I mean, it's going to go up and down a little bit, but it's just a clock, you know.
Up and down on an upward swing. So it does this as it climbs up. Did you get that, Matthew? This as it climbs up.
Yeah. Just put that on repeat. Yeah. What about for sellers? You're a seller, you're flexible on timing. When should you try and sell?
Motivation for sellers.
Yeah.
100%. That's the first question. What's your motivations? If you got time and you're flexible, let's see if you want to let's list it right now. If not, let's pull it off for December. Let's get you 30 days on the market. If nothing's happening and you're trying to give up stuff, cool. Let's pull it off. Let's relist it in the spring. You know, or if they're confident and they're willing to wait, let's just list in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got no reason to sell right now, I've told 3 or 4 people at this point that are like, hey, we should list. I'm like, do you need to list?
Yeah.
Are you trying to move? And they're like, well, we're just pondering it.
Well, so we have a few listed that we're just testing it. Like, we're listing it at a spot that I think it could sell at, but if we don't get anything by like Thanksgiving, we'll probably pull it off, or maybe like December 15th, pull it off and then relist it like January 15th or something like that. So, one unique, like, I feel like opportunity that I've been seeing, and I'd be curious your thoughts on this, and then we'll wrap up. So you had a bunch of houses, and I'm seeing this more in like some of the like Ogden Valley or Morgan County on more like the $1 million+ homes. But if you have a house that was built in say 2000 to 2015 or 20, like that kind of 20-year span on some acreage, it's interesting. I'm looking at like what sellers are selling those for right now, and then what people are buying those lots and trying to build a similar house for, and it's like double the cost difference.
Yep.
I feel like there's a huge opportunity in kind of that lower end of the luxury home realm, where you're looking at existing luxury homes from like 1 to 3 million, that you could pick one of those up right now and have it be a good build. But keep in mind, these sellers bought the land, built the house back before prices doubled. Like 2022, things just went nuts.
So you're saying they have more of a window to gamble. So
They have like a lower basis.
Instead of getting out scot-free and just breaking even, what you're saying is they have a $500 to $1 million window of profit that they can play with.
Exactly. Like they're into it much less. But then I'm seeing people that I've sold lots to that are getting priced out for new builds, and just the new build cost alone is $500 to $600 a square foot. Again, these are luxury homes. Like every bedroom has its own bathroom and like stuff like that. But I've seen people and I've helped people buy these homes that are like 1 to 3 million, and I think that it's a great deal, because if you were to go and try and replace that today, you would be 1, 2, 3, like you could be double the price. It might not be exactly what you want, but eventually all these homes that were built in the past, say 15 years that are reasonably priced right now, those are all going to sell. And then the new homes are going to be like, that's going to be the new price
Your
point.
cost basis is
the
going
new
to skyrocket.
cost basis is going to go up, because that's what it costs to make those homes now. It's like for cars, for example, like if the base price of new cars go up, that's going to pull up the value of all the older cars. And right now I'm seeing the old cars, they got them for so cheap, and the new cars to buy are so expensive that there's this huge gap. Eventually it will get closer.
So let's say you found a home with a floor plan that works well for you on on the exact lot that you're wanting. You're saying it would be cheaper to buy that home, probably remodel a little bit, than it would be to buy another lot and build fresh.
100%. Like half. Ask Ben, he's going through a remodel right now.
Yes.
I've been having some contractors come through, and I'm like shocked at how expensive some of the bids are coming back at.
And I think the biggest thing is, I don't know if it's so much the cost of the build. I mean, that is a big factor in it. But the amount of fees from your government, your impact fees are outrageous nowadays. You know, you're $20,000 to $40,000 depending on where your water's coming from, your sewer connection fees, you know. And then on top of that, dirt. That's the biggest thing. Dirt never gets cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, houses do this, dirt does this.
And lumber and wages and windows and roof, like all that just gets crazy expensive. Anyways, I've just seen that. I've seen a few people like trying to build, and I think it works. A client that called me that was talking about building, I'm like, hey, if you're going to be there, like we have the Olympics coming in 10 years, we have all these things happening. If you're going to be there for 5 to 10 years, I think you'll be totally fine building this dream home of yours. You have the killer lot. Like you can really only recreate that once, but say you weren't married to this house plan or this idea, like that's kind of where me and Cara are at. We've bought houses that we didn't necessarily love the floor plan, but we're like, hey, we can just gut this and remake it work. Like the house that we bought in Eden, we were like $200 a square foot, like super cheap with the lot too, right? I'm like, man, the lots are almost worth what the lot and the house is selling for alone. And so anyways, I've just, that thought has come to me and I've seen it work out more and more. And I think over the next 5 years, those that are able to be like, if you're in that market, and even a cheaper market, like 500 to $1 million, I would imagine it's the same. Like it would play out the same. There's just finding a house that needs some work, fixing it up. It's like that house that we just sold for $300,000. Like that lot's worth $150, $200, right? And now they have this house that they can just remodel, fix up, touch up, and make it awesome. So.
Good opportunity for everybody.
Yeah.
Possibly. And
So-
even if it doesn't work out perfectly, as long as you're in the home 7 to 10 years, it's just a really interesting moment in time right now for buyers.
Cool. And we got a good bet on the table. I'm curious to see how it pans out.
It's going to pan out with
Yeah.
one of you two buying me sushi.
Maybe.
You know,
I want to go to the hot pot place.
the Hoo hot pot right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
I went to one in Chicago, and they were really fun.
Let's go do it. It's going to be on you probably. So.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, guys.
All right. Love you. Bye.